I'll say EC2 minus user at the rate whatever IP address you get. You go to appearance, change your font size. 16 is the font size. SSH, auth, take the key, whatever you have. DevOps KP, and open it up. Let me become a root user. And the host name will be, okay, it is already there. Let's clear it out. If you remember, yesterday we were talking about this function. So this is what we had yesterday, or this is what we were doing yesterday. So we had, no, I don't think it was function. Give me 1 minute. Wait, let me just see. 15th variable demo advanced, 15th dynamic AMI. I think this is what we were doing. Variable demo advanced, ls minus l. Yeah. Fine. So yesterday, when we started, we told that the first thing what we will do is we will write main.tf. I don't think this was the one. Wait, not this also. Does anyone remember which one was that? We have to create it again. Variable demo, conditional dynamic AMI. I think this was the one, dynamic AMI. I think this was the one. This was the one. Okay. Yesterday when we started with this. We created a file called main.tf. And in this particular code, we were writing our multi-line comment, single line comment. So this was my single line comment. This is my multi-line comment. Then I started with provider. I specifically gave the region. I specifically gave the AMI, and then a variable called as var.instance type. Then I told that I will be adding a new section here called output section. And in the output section, I'll go ahead and get the details of my details of my EC2 instance. It can be a private IP, it can be public IP, whatever you want. Then we told that whatever you run, so let me say if I say Terraform plan, so this plan can be output, or you can push this to a demo plan. And rather than running it by saying apply auto approve, you can run this particular thing. So it is also telling you that you can say Terraform apply and this demo plan. So these are the things which we learned yesterday. Now, there is something called function in Terraform. So if I simply come here and say function in Terraform. Okay. Now, if you come here, there are many functions like this, like max. Okay. Then you have string function, numeric function, like there are many functions. Okay. Now, let me say if you want to deal with these functions. Okay. Let me say we want to deal with this max function. So if you want to try it out, you will come here and say Terraform console. It will open a CLI kind of thing here. And these commands you can run here and check. Like it says, what is the max of 5, 12, and 9? So obviously 12 is the max, so it gives you the output. Similarly, let me pick some other function. Like replace function. And let's take an example. So it is saying the expression for me is 1 plus 2 plus 3. It is saying replace this plus with minus sign. See here, the output is 1 minus 2 minus 3. So this is a replace function. So like this, you will get a lot of functions. Okay. Upper function, like it will convert it into uppercase. So let me just pick this guy. Upper hello. So it has been converted to uppercase. So in case you want to execute something locally, many a times you don't want to put it in the script and see whether it is running or not. Rather, you want to put it locally and test. So you can open Terraform console and you can run it. Now, one such function which I will be using is, let me just come here and say lookup function in Terraform. Okay. So how is this lookup function going to work? So this is my lookup function. So here it is saying, so this is the expression. Okay. It says if the variable passed is A, then give me the output as AY. If the variable passed is B, then give me the output as BEEB. If it is not A or B, then give me the output as what? So I passed A. So what I got? AY. So A corresponds to AY. This is a lookup function. If I have passed B here, it will return BEEB because it says if you get B as an input, provide this BEE as an output. Similarly, if you provide something which is not within the range, means it is not here at all, it is saying what? I don't know what you want to print. So this is how the lookup function works. Simply you can come here and say exit. Now, why am I showing you this? Now, if you see your code here, you can see that I have hard coded this value. When I say hard coded this value, it is kind of stringent. It is kind of stuck to that region. Anytime if you want to make it dynamic, it will not work. It will not give you the desired output. So I want that it should become a little bit dynamic. And when I say it should become dynamic, this value should not be there. So like how I'm giving var.instance type, I will give something here called var.region. var.region. Let me remove this guy from here. Okay, so obviously it will start questioning where is this region. I'll also go ahead and declare this variable. So where is my variable declared? So here I will go ahead and say I'm going to declare a variable. I will say the variable name is region. And here at this point of time, the default value I'll give it as US East 1 for time being. Okay. Now, what happens if you run this? So let me just go ahead and say Terraform LAN. Now, it will pick the default value because the default value, whatever we provided, was the region it was picked. The region, it is not showing me right now, but once it is created, the region will be US East 1. Now, let me say this AMI will only work in US East 1 if I give an AMI or if I give a region which is not US East 1. So let me show you some scenario here. So let me clear this guy and come to this. So here, when I don't give the default value, I'll simply comment it out. Okay. So if I comment it out, what will happen? The moment you run this guy, it will ask you for the region value. Okay. Now let me say you gave AP South 1, which is Mumbai. So that AMI should not work. Now, let me say, I will say Terraform apply. Terraform apply. And I will say auto approves. So it is asking me the region AP South 1. So what will happen? That AMI should cause a problem. So it says invalid AMI. this AMI is not found. On contrary to that, if I would have done something like this, instead of this AMI, I would have given an AMI which corresponds to the region AP South 1. It would have worked. So this is Mumbai. Let me just come here. And if I would have given something like this, it would have worked. But this is a problem. This is a problem. You are hard coding the value. You're saying region specific things. The moment I want to make my region dynamic, this AMI is causing a problem. So what I will do is I'll use a lookup function here and try to parameterize this thing. Okay, just see how am I doing it. Give me 1 second now. So for the AMI, I'm doing something like this. I'm not giving a hard-coded value. Rather, I'm saying use the lookup function and you only go and look for the value. var.region is nothing but this guy. So I'm saying based on the region, you go ahead and pick my AMI. So this thing I need to declare somewhere, right? That I'm going to use something like this. So I will declare that. So that can be declared somewhere here. Let me go to the variable section. Here I'm saying I'm going to define a variable called AMI. And this AMI is of type map. Here, the default value is not simply default. It corresponds to a region. So if the user will give the region as US East 1, this one should be picked up. If he says US West 2, this one should be picked up. If he's saying AP South 1, so this thing should be picked up. So if I'm able to implement this, then I am kind of solving the problem. Let's see if this gets implemented or not. So earlier, if you remember, I gave the value as AP South 1 and it failed, right? So let me just try it again. If I give AP South 1, will it fail or it should go good? AP South 1. Let's see what happens. According to me, it should not fail. Here, it is creating. Now, when it is creating, the most important thing which I am looking at is that it has automatically picked the region, and corresponding to that region, it has automatically picked this particular AMI ID. Now, this AMI ID, the one ending with 24, whatever it is corresponding to the instance or corresponding to the region I passed, to be very precise. So here, this got created. Okay. And also it is giving me the private IP. So if you want, I can go to my AP South 1 and check this, whether it is getting created or not. So it ends with 28B6. So let me come here to this guy. And see, 28B6. Okay, so this is the instance ID. And this corresponds to Mumbai, which is AP South 1. Now let me go ahead and destroy this. So I'll simply destroy this. It's saying which region you would like to destroy. I will say AP South 1. So whatever is there in AP South 1, I want to delete that. So it came to know, okay, you're trying to destroy this particular instance, 172.31.4.209. 172.31.4.209. 4.209. So this is what is getting deleted. Now, the best part is that I told the region, based on that region, it picked my AMI and it kind of dynamically gives me that value. This time I will go ahead and I will not apply, rather I will simply plan because it takes time. So I will simply say Terraform and I will say plan and let me run it. This time I am giving it as US East 1. So if I give US East 1, the US East 1 AMI should be picked up. Let me just check. This is my US East 1 AMI. Can I check whether it is there or not? So let me come here and check in US East 1 if that AMI is there or not. North Virginia. Okay, come to this AMI and try to look for that. Did I delete something? AP South 1, right? Wait a second. I think I have not copied it correctly. Is US East 1 is this thing. Wait, is it correct or not correct? Anyhow, according to the code, it is picking it up. US East 1, if the region is US East 1, it should pick this guy. If the region I pass at US West 2, so let me just come here. And this time when I plan, I'll pass the region as US West 2. So it should pick the AMI which I'm providing in my code or in my variable file. So let me come here and you can see it is picking this guy, which is DE2C. So DE2C. So this is what is getting picked up. So kind of, I have made it dynamic. Okay. When I say I have made it dynamic, at least for these three regions, it will go ahead and look for the corresponding AMI and get the work done. What happens if I provide something which is not there in the list? So let me say I do a Terraform plan. Okay. But I'm not giving that AP South 1 or I'm giving EU West 1. EU West 1, but I have not declared any variable for EU West 1. Okay. Let's see what happens. It says error in the function call. You are looking for AMI in a region which is not defined. So it says in var AMI, there are 3 elements. And in these 3 elements, this region is not there. So I am failed to look up or I have not been able to find this particular content, which makes sense. So in case you want to make it more dynamic, more robust, you can add more regions here. Okay. Now, another thing which might have noticed is when you create this instance, okay, these instances get created, but there is no name given to them. Okay, sorry, we have to go back to north here, AP South 1. So whenever you create an instance, okay, you will see these instances, they do not have a name attached to this. Okay, so I would like to give a name to them so that when they are created, they are not blank, they are given some name. So I will do something like this. I will come here and say nano main.tf, and here I will go ahead and add a small section. I'm going to add a section called or I'm going to add a variable called tags. So let me add to the variable section only. Wait, give me 1 second now. Let me go to my variables file. And here only, let me add one more variable with the name as tags. So in the tags, this data type which I'm using is list. And here there are two elements, first instance to second instance. Okay. You want to give any other name, give that name. There's no problem here. Okay. Now in the code main.tf, let's go and use it. So here, I'm going to say something like this. Count is going to be 2. Okay. And then when you create the instance, name that instance as var.tags, or the tags you will find there. I have defined in my variable count.index. So you know that the first instance created is 0, 1. It is subscript as 0, the second one as 1. So it will go to my variable section. This is the first name which it will pick up. This is the second name which it will pick up. And then there will be a small problem here. This will not work. So let me just remove this for time being. I'll show you how this thing will work. So this output section I'm removing because with count, it will not work. So I'm trying to give a name to my instances, and that name is kind of dynamic. It says go to the variable called tags. From there, pick the first one as first EC2 and the second one as second EC2. So let's go ahead and run this. So now I can very well say something like this. Terraform plan, and I will output this to demo plan. Okay, it says main.tf, you have some error. Argument or the block definition is required. Okay, let's see. We have missed something, looks like. Okay, this H has come all of its own. Okay, which region would you like to run? So let me say I would like to run it for AP South 1. And it says you can now do a Terraform apply. Okay, and you can apply it to your demo plan. Let's see what happens. Will it go ahead? Yes. If you see here, it is creating two EC2 instances for me, one with the abbreviation as 0, the other one with the abbreviation as 1. But when it will be finally created, okay, you will see that the tag will be associated with that, or a name will be given to both of them. So let me just show you how to work with this. Okay, so it says 2 resources has been added. This is one, this is the other one. Okay, now if you go back here and refresh here, come back here, see here, second EC2, first EC2. So now they have been created with the name which I want to give. And it is not that only one instance, there are multiple instances which has been created. Now, in general scenario, okay, let me just clear this guy. In general scenario, if you want to delete, okay, I will say Terraform destroy. If you simply say Terraform destroy, what will happen? Okay, minus auto approve. What will happen? Both the items which I have will get created. Now assume that I don't want to create both of them. I only want to delete this guy. Can this be done? Yes, you have to simply come here and say target equal whichever you want to delete. So you can say, I want to delete this guy. So what will happen here is it will go ahead and delete any one of them. Again, AP South 1. So here, the good thing is that if you see carefully, 1 to destroy. So only one is getting destroyed. the other one still will be there. So many a times this interview question can be asked. Suppose I have 5 instances or I have 5 items, but I don't want to delete all of them. I just want to delete one of them. Then what should I do? So you should go ahead and target, say minus target, and whatever you want to target, you go ahead and delete that guy only. So here it is giving you warning and all, because it's saying that incomplete, because in the state file, 2 things were there and you used a target and you destroyed only one. So that is completely okay. No worries on that part. So it says resource targeting is in effect. So if you would have not given target, I would have deleted both of them. But because you gave me, I deleted just this guy. So if I come back here and refresh, I can see the first instance is gone and only the second one is left. Now, let me say I'm going to change something here. So generally what happens, many a time this is not recommended, but assume that because of T2 micro, my production instance is failing. Okay. Now, because this production instance is failing, okay, I want that I should increase the size. So let me say I have just now given T2 micro, right? I'm stopping it and I'm going to increase the size, or I'm going to make some changes, whatever it is. Let me show you that. So this is stopped, right? Second EC2 stopped. Come here and see your instance setting, modify instance type. Let me come here. 1 second. Okay, so what I'm doing is, let me say this was T2 micro, but due to some immediate requirement, I made it T2 dot large. T2 dot 2x large. I made it this much. Apply. So I showed you that this is actually a deviation. And let me come back here. Second, yeah. 1 second. What did I change just now? Terminated. 1 second. So this is what I changed just now. I made it T2x large. Now let me start it. So start this instance. So now when the instance will run, it will show me that it is T2x large. If I do something like this, I will clear all these things. I will come here and say Terraform plan. It will ask me region AP South 1. It will show me this thing. Mm, It is saying that some update was done, update in place. So I will see what update was done. Basically, the instance type is what it will tell me. See here. So it will tell that according to me, okay, it should be T2 micro, but somebody has made it T2x large. Okay. Now, because somebody has made it T2x large, if I do a Terraform apply, it should go ahead and update it back to T2 micro. Okay. Many a times, what happens is because you have done a manual change, it may disrupt the entire flow. Means the entire infrastructure can be in problem because you have done a manual change. So for that reason, we do something called Terraform taint. Now, the moment you say Terraform taint, you can remove taint. Okay. Taint command exactly expects one argument. Terraform uses, okay, wait a second. When I say Terraform taint, what I actually want to do, I'll tell you. Hmm. Okay, so if I want to know what Terraform taint will do, Terraform taint, I will TAINT help. Okay, so it says Terraform uses the term tainted to describe a resource instance which may not be fully functional or either because of its creation is partially failed or has you have manually marked it or you have manually gone ahead and changed it. If this kind of a situation happens, the entire infrastructure can be a problem. So what we will try to do here is we'll try to taint it. So tainting is nothing but it's a kind of marking that it is not as per what Terraform requires. So if I again show you that thing, Terraform plan, AP South 1, this is what it is. And it says, this is what will happen. And this is a deviation. So it says you can taint this resource. Taint this resource is like mark that resource. So you do something like this. You say Terraform taint and you give the resource name. Now, what will happen is the resource AWS instance has been marked as tainted. So when it has been marked as tainted, what actually happens or what new has happened? Now, if you go to your TF state file now, cat ls minus l, this is my TF state file, okay? Cat Terraform state file. Now, if you see carefully this guy, okay, it will show you that it has been marked as tainted. I'll show you what will happen here. Give me 1 second for this. If you see here the status is marked as tainted. What is the benefit of this? The status, I did Terraform taint and then I marked that instance. The status is saying tainted. But what is the benefit? Why are you doing this much? The good thing will happen is now when I come here and say Terraform apply minus auto approve, okay, and let me just target the one which I have tainted. Target let's see what was that instance. Give me 1 second now. So this is what I tainted, right? It is Terraform apply minus auto approve and target equals. Okay, so I am trying to apply this. Now, the benefit which I will get is, it says failed to minus star minus Terraform apply. Flag provided is not, sorry, it should be target. Enter value AP South 1. The benefit is this time when this will be created, okay, it will be always destroyed. Okay, think of a scenario. I'll tell you a scenario. Now, let me say you created an infrastructure. Infrastructure. Okay, and it is maintained by Terraform. Okay, but there are some people who do not follow the process. The process is that you should update your main.pf and you can apply this. And if you want, you preserve the state file. This is how it should ideally work. But there are few in your team who do not update or do not update using main.tf. What they are doing? They are doing a manual update. Now, because they are doing a manual update, tomorrow, when you go ahead and create your infrastructure, it may create a problem. If you are trying, so because they have done a manual update, now when you want to update your infra using Terraform, it may create problem for you. So the situation is, I started my infrastructure by writing Terraform scripts, but few members in my team are doing manual update. Now, because they are doing a manual update, Terraform is not aware of the changes. So when I want to again use Terraform, it will create a problem for me. So what I do is I taint that application. So taint is nothing but you mark that application, or you identify, give a unique identification to that application. And next time when you say Terraform apply, what Terraform will do is it will first destroy that application and create from scratch. What is the benefit of this? All these manual updates which you have done, it will be discarded. Okay, so there are few thumb rules that if you're using Terraform as an infrastructure, as a tool code, then use only Terraform. Don't do manual updates. And if you're doing both, means you are spinning up the infrastructure using Terraform, then you are manually doing something, then again you are coming back and saying, okay, Terraform, you do. So it is not that smart or that intelligent enough to grab all these things. So either you maintain it by Terraform or you manually maintain it. If you do a combination, it will create problem. So assume that I started with Terraform, but somebody did a manual update. I came to know. So what I have done is I have tainted that application, or I have marked that application. So in future, whenever I do a Terraform apply, Terraform will first destroy that application and then only create a new one from beginning. And this is exactly what it might have done. See here, it first destroyed that application and then created a new application. Okay, so in the class today, we have learned about 2-3 things. First, how to become dynamic. When I say become dynamic, I would always want that if I write a code, it is not region specific. And this is what we were doing earlier. When earlier I was writing the code, I always used to write US East 1 or AP South 1. So wherever you run the code, it will pick that region only, and it will pick that AMI only. Now what I did is I tried to make it dynamic. Is it 100% dynamic? No, because I have only used 3 variables here: US East 1, US West 2, and AP South 1. But again, if you want to make it further dynamic, you can use all the regions. But the good thing what I have done here is I have kind of made this also dynamic, this also dynamic, and this guy also AMI. I have made it dynamic by using a lookup function. I told I will provide you the region. Based on the region, you pick the AMI. So this region is here in my variable.tf file. And here it is a map function which says that in case the user provides US East 1, take this as a AMI. If US West 2, take this as a AMI. If AP South 1, then take this as a AMI. Then one more I wanted to implement. I gave the count as 2. So I need 2 instances. But again, the problem is if I leave it, either there will be no tag or the tag will be a default something. So I told, go to my tags variable and there give a name. So if you go to your tags variable, here you will see it's saying if the first instance is created, name it as first.ec2. Second, you name it as second.ec2. And if I run this, I am able to see my script to a certain extent being dynamic. Then the second thing which we talked about here is that tainting a function. So tainting the function, I told you that there are few who are updating it manually. There are few who are writing script. So you cannot do it like this. Either do it manually or either do it via Terraform. Now you will be aware that Terraform is not a very old script. Maybe over a period of time, it will become very robust. And even if you're manually updating, it will take care of everything. But as of now, today, it is either recommended that you go everything manual or you go by Terraform. And if you have to make changes to the infrastructure, make sure that you do it via script rather than manually doing it. So we taint the application or we taint the infrastructure just to make sure that in future, if I have to create it, it is always recreated, means first destroyed and then created again. Then I showed you if there are 2 or 3 instances or 2 or 3 infrastructures getting created at the same time. And let me say you don't want to spend time in like creating all of them again and again. So you can use the target flag and you can target that particular instance. Okay, now this is all I have for today. Now I'll do one thing. I'll put all these codes there in your GitHub. Okay, so from there, in fact, I can do it now only. Why to wait for? So you can at least start practicing this. Any questions if you have? See, as of you proceed, new features will start. We will start adding new features. So I will always recommend that please start practicing dynamic variables. Main.tf.
Please, can you kindly share the link to your GitHub, please? Because
yeah, I'll do it.
Hi, Vikas. So you mentioned that while creating that, it will destroy and create a new instance. Now, while creating, it will use the old values or new value?
New values.
New values. Okay.
We'll add one more file, then variable file. Variable. So if you understand the code or the script, it is very easy. It is like why I'm writing it. You should understand that. And then done. And this is the repo link. I'm putting it here in the chat window. Okay. And then the commands which I'm using, I'll just create a separate this thing for you. And I'll put all the commands here. I will put it like this. So if I do a history now, it will show me a lot of things. This I will put it separately because I don't think all of this thing will be needed for you. But still, for commands, at least I will want you to write those commands, because in your interview and all, they will ask you the commands like, can you help me how to write a taint command, or what is Terraform destroy command, how it will work. So please practice this. Okay, these are not at all difficult, like target, auto approve, then taint. All these things are very easy. Okay, fine. If anyone has any questions, please go ahead. Okay, fine. I'll call you guys. I'll connect with you tomorrow then. See you then, guys.